MLB released their updated ballot, and we noticed something. In addition to Riley Green and Gleyber Torres being All-Stars, Javy is in center field. Voting still going till Thursday, and then phase 2 and a whole bunch of other hoops. But for now, Javy Baez is starting in the All-Star game. Texter says the only explanation is that Cubs fans have gotten so drunk they think he still plays for them.
It's a good explanation.
He hit in .333 in June with a 900 OPS, and he's been a catalyst for this team in the most unexpected way. So this has led to a lot of talk on the station, and Rieger did one of his lists yesterday. He throws out a list and asks the audience to guess what's on that. It was the most surprising stories in Detroit sports of his life. He did a terrible job putting this list together.
Yes.
He had Barry's retirement 7th. He had Javy 2nd as the second most surprising story in Detroit sports history. So we said, okay, let's back up. What is the most surprising? And Gov says we have to start at number 2 because Barry's number 1. I think, John, do you agree with that?
I concur.
Okay,
yes.
Great. So we're starting the list at number 2. And I don't think I'd put Javy number 2.
No.
Texter says Rieger spot on with the Pistons at 1. Kobe and Shaq were prime, best 2 players in the series. Nobody gave the Pistons a shot. Pistons should be near the top of this list, the 04 team.
Okay, near the top, but not at the top.
Well, he said he agrees with them being number 1. I think it could be in the top 5. Some more ticket text. Vladdy's car crash has to be top 5. Killed the entire mood after winning the Stanley Cup. Well, surprising and sudden, yes.
Yeah,
it was like 6 days after.
Yeah.
Awful.
Happened on a Friday night, scrambling to try to find out what exactly happened. The thing with Barry versus that, and it sounds, I hate almost comparing things and stuff.
I know. Well, especially one's
exactly. The
like
consequences are far worse with Konstantinos, but we got a why within a few days. Like Barry's why and the lingering things that went on, like John talked about, even trade rumors and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
His dad started doing interviews all over the place. He was a character. It was wild.
There was just such a great mystery long after the moment had passed.
Yeah, in Rieger's top 10, he had Goff beating Stafford, Darko being selected. Just, come on. He had Malice at the Palace 8. I mean, certainly a surprise there. So you guys can weigh in on stuff from the past and try to put this in its proper context, what Javy Baez is doing in the city of Detroit right now. Bob and Troy, good morning.
Hey, good morning. 2006, number 1 versus number 2, Ohio State, Michigan. Bo dies the day before in a bathroom of a heart attack. I can't believe that's not even in the top 3. That was mind-blowing, how big that game was. A week before, Bo's out getting interviewed, all excited, and you find out he dies the day before. That one's shocking.
John, your perspective on it, obviously you were...
Yeah, it was shocking. I mean, not shocking that he had a heart attack. He had major heart issues.
Major that had been long chronicled.
It was the day before the game.
Yeah.
Like the game. It was 1 and 2, and it just shocked the heck out of me. Barry didn't shock me. Barry didn't shock me at all.
What?
Because he had Charlie Batch coming in as his quarterback after 10 years. He had Bobby Ross going to have him starting, and he's like, I'm done with this stuff. He's like, they got rid of Mitchell, bring in Charlie Batch. I think he was just done with the whole thing.
Bob, I'm about to put you on this list. Surprised that someone was surprised or wasn't surprised that Barry retired.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a universal Metro Detroit thing. You saw it coming?
It was surprising how he did it. I didn't like when he did it. He probably should have done it earlier before training camp. But I saw everything. As soon as they signed Charlie Batch to be their quarterback, he was probably like, hey, man, I'm done. He was just done with that, him and Bobby Ross. Bobby Ross wasn't pleasant either.
Was it more surprising to you that they ended up going on to make the playoffs that year without Barry?
Yeah. Oh, I was shocked on that, but still, Charlie Batch, I mean, come on. A mediocre MAC quarterback is taking over, and he's in his 10th year. I mean, yeah, I just thought he was beat up and just done. And he basically came out and said it.
Tell us what you really think of Charlie Batch.
Poor
guy catching strays this morning. How many times are you going to pile on Charlie Batch?
I mean, I went to Eastern. Jeez. Dave's working with facts after the news.
Right.
None of that was known.
Well,
it just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Something's on Ticket Text Quick. I always want your guys' opinion.
Yeah.
Is this ours or not? Because it certainly is very high on the list if this is truly Detroit's. The attack on Nancy Kerrigan. It happened at Joe Louis Arena. Tonya Harding. We knew people like Jeff Gillooly and Shane Stant who were.
Yeah.
That story is unbelievable.
It is. It's shocking.
What year did that happen?
94.
I know all about it. I've seen the documentaries on it, but I would have been a year old.
That was insane.
Yeah. And maybe it should be on the list, but I mean, Barry's is still more shocking.
Is it a Detroit sports
Yeah, is
surprise?
it ours or not? Do we own that?
Well, it happened here.
At Joe Louis. Look, you could put it on and kick off Goff beating Stafford. The Lions were favored in that playoff game.
Right, yeah. I don't know that was a huge surprise.
I mean, it was an emotional game. Like, again, there's different ways to describe these. That was not a surprise. We expected them to win that playoff game. We were nervous of what if they didn't, but it wasn't a surprise that the favored team at home with the better record won the football game.
Right.
And it led to a lot of emotions. It was a very emotional Detroit sports game. It's certainly one of the more emotional playoff games we've ever had.
But not surprising.
You know, quickly on the 04 Pistons, like my thing was that they came off an Eastern Conference Finals appearance the year before. It wasn't out of nowhere. I guess if you want to say directly to the Lakers.
Specifically to the Lakers.
They were dogs, but they weren't super heavy dogs. There had been some chatter that the Kobe Shaq thing was on the fritz.
John, what did you make of Rieger putting Michigan beating Ohio State last year as the fourth most shocking thing to ever happen in his life, Detroit sports?
It was shocking for sure, but I don't think it doesn't.
Like, how about this? It's ahead of trouble with the snap. Trouble with the snap, albeit one play.
Right.
You're never going to see that again.
No, you wouldn't think so.
Michigan has upset Ohio State before.
Yeah. Gosh, I mean, there's just so many more things that were shocking that when you're talking about college teams, college moments, and I know this one obviously involved a lot of our listeners, Michigan and Michigan State, whether you were shocked good or shocked bad. I'm just very reserved to think that trumps anything that would have happened. Like, I would have put the Malice at the Palace ahead of that. I would have put the 24 Tigers ahead of that. I would have put Barry retiring certainly ahead of that. 06 Tigers, 04 Pistons, the Vlade car crash.
Yep. I would put MSU beating Ohio State in 2014 as more surprising because it was a backup quarterback.
Yeah, and it was
a loaded Ohio State roster. I'd say more loaded than the team Michigan beat this year.
Yeah, and we just haven't seen that happen as often. Now, Michigan State and Ohio State don't play as often as Michigan and Ohio State does. The 0-16 even be on the list. I don't know that was necessarily shocking. Maybe it was shocking that they lost all 16 games, but that they were going to be bad.
Well, it's a little different, too, to put something like that.
I don't know if you know, but they did win all 4 preseason games.
Yes, John, thank you. It's always brought up. You know what some of this is, though? The challenge of 0-16 being on this list is you come to grips with it slowly. Everything else on this list is a moment, a play, a day.
Yeah.
0-16 is a death march. I mean, you're 0-12, you're 0-13, you're 0-14. Hell, it's going to be 0-16, right? At some point, it's not even a surprise. It's historic, but it doesn't resonate the way these other surprises, to me, do.
I mean, you could, for a moment, you could even say, you know, if you're going to put Darko on here, how about drafting Eric Ebron? That seemed shocking in the moment.
At the time, everybody hated the pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. 248-539-9797. Let's get to Josh. You're next. You're on 97.1.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
My most shocking moment was actually when the Heisman committee gave Charles Woodson the Heisman Trophy. I think that should be top 5 to 7 all-time in Detroit sports moments.
Even with the season that he had, just that he was a primarily defensive player, you thought that was the shocking part of it?
Yes, because Peyton was Peyton, and it was bred up. Peyton came back to get the Heisman only, and I didn't think the real committee would actually give a defensive player, Woodson, the Heisman.
I don't know that I was, well, obviously I wasn't necessarily shocked because I was on that team, but he had he had Heisman moments, like the punt return against Ohio State. The pass, a number of different passes that he had, from the wing position.
Did you expect him to win the Heisman that night?
I did. So
so if you did, we did it. I was like 14 years old. I didn't think it would go to him.
Yeah.
I thought he should have won it. I didn't think he would get it at that moment.
He's prepared to be outraged, only to be pleasantly surprised that his guy got it done.
I would be more shocked now because it is more of a quarterback award than it was then.
Yeah. Texter says, I'm not saying it's number one, but it should have been on the list. The offseason that predated the 0-2 Stanley Cup for the Red Wings, adding Hasek, Hull, and Robitaille, one move after another, felt like there was no limits to what the Red Wings could do. Real quick, to run through this, just so people keep texting in and Greg's getting phone calls, what's on the list, what's not on the list. This was Rieger's list yesterday, the 20 most surprising things that have ever happened in Detroit sports in his lifetime. Really, this goes back to the Weber timeout. Number 20 was Middle Tennessee State. Number 19, Armando Galarraga's robbery of a perfect game. Weber's timeout was 18. App State's upset of Michigan was 17. 16 is trading for Miggy at the winter meetings, the surprise of that. 15 is Kinsler for Fielder. 0-16 checked in at 14th on the list. Number 13 is Ozzie replacing Hasek to win the Cup. Sparty beating Ohio State. Sad Urban Meyer Pizza was 12th. Vladdy Car Crash 11. Darko 10. Goff beating Stafford was 9th. Malice at the Palace 8. Barry and Calvin both leaving 7th somehow. Tigers making the playoffs last year. Trouble with the snap. Michigan beating Ohio State. Number 3 was the 06 Tigers. Number 2 was Javy being the All-Star starter in center field. And number 1, the 04 Pistons beating the Lakers to be crowned NBA champions. It's 97-1.